Hello class, welcome to today's lesson. Today we are treating types of dentition. This is the second lesson on dentition in mammals. I'm Miss Eugenia Mensa. Let's begin. Alright, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the types of teeth in mammals and relate them to their functions. So we have our key terms: incisor, canines, premolars, molars, chisel-shaped, crashing, tearing, cutting. So you should familiarize yourself with these key terms after the lesson. So typically we have 4 types of teeth found in the dentition of a mammal. So when you smile, you realize you have 4 different types of teeth occupying your buccal cavity. So these 4 types of teeth are what we are going to look at today and relate them to their function as a result of the structure that they possess. So we have the incisors, the canines, the premolars, and the molars. So typically in a human, you realize that there are 4 sets of incisors at the front of the teeth for both the upper and the lower jaws. So you have 4 sets of incisors at the front of the teeth, located at the front. And just beside the incisors, you have the canines. And then you have our premolars and the molars, which develop later in life. So you have all these sets of teeth being found in a human being, and they all perform certain functions peculiar to only them. So let's move on to look at them separately. So we have the incisors. The incisors, as I said, are located at the front of the teeth. Typically, they have the shape of a chisel, so they are described as being chisel-shaped. The chisel usually used by carpenters to work on wood. Yes, see, it has a sharp edge or a straight edge. Yes, that's the shape of the incisor. So you see right here, that's flat or sharp, flat surface. That is quite typical of a chisel. So that is the structure of the incisor, and its function is for cutting and biting food. So typically when you are putting a carrot in your mouth, it's the incisors that first need to act on it to break it off. You see? Yes, that's the function of the incisors. Now moving on, we have our second set of teeth, which is the canine. Now the canines are used for holding and tearing flesh. So typically our canines will look like that of a vampire, just that in vampire movies you have the canines elongated because they feed on flesh more, as you would have in dogs and other carnivores, as we looked at in lesson 1 of dentition in mammals. So you realize that the difference or the different characteristic of the carnivore dentition is the fact that their canines is elongated as compared to that of omnivores. We humans, we are omnivores because we feed on both plants and animals, as already discussed in lesson 1. So these canines are used for tearing and holding flesh. So typically when you are going to chew on your chicken, you bring it to the side of your teeth because that's where your canines are found. So you hold it with your the side of your teeth, and you seize it and you tear it. That is the function of the canines. So typically it has a pointed surface, but it is comparatively blunt in comparison to the carnivore dentition. So it's pointed but blunt, so bluntly pointed. But in that of the carnivores, it's sharply pointed because of the function or the role it plays in carnivores. Moving on, the third set of teeth we have in mammals is the premolars. Now the premolars and the molars, they have similar structure, the premolars and molars, all right? So together they are known as the cheek teeth because they are found in the cheek area. So the premolars and molars together are known as the cheek teeth. So typically you find the premolars and molars are used for crushing and grinding food. So that carrot that was bitten through by your incisors would be sent to the side of your teeth or your premolars and molars for chewing and grinding. That is the function of the premolars and molars. The difference is that with the premolars, typically you find that there is less ridging on the surface. Now this is what I mean by ridging. You see, typically you find that the incisors, the canines, their surface is flat. There is no ridge found there. unlike the premolars and molars where you have these cusps, all right, and it has a ridged surface. Now typically the molars have more ridged surface, so looking at here you can count about 4 ridges. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Unlike the premolars where you can have about 2, 1, 2, or you can have about 3, 1, 2, and 3. So the surface is ridged, but then the molars are more advanced than the premolars, all right, and they are used for crushing and grinding. Typically, some people develop their molars later in life. Yes, so it's sometimes known as the wisdom teeth because of when it appears. Now, making mention of the fact that the molars typically appear later in life, it brings us to the 2 sets of teeth which can be found typically in a mammal, in the life cycle of a mammal. Typically, you have 2 sets of teeth in humans, and that is the milk teeth and the permanent teeth. So typically when your baby is growing up, all right, there are some set of teeth which the baby develops. Typically, they are fewer in number, they are spaced, and they lose these sets of teeth as they age to make way for much more permanent and stronger teeth, which would be beneficial in their dentition. Typically, in the early stages of their life, they feed on milk, so they are not feeding on solids. So there would be less need for stronger teeth. So as they age and they go, they replace these set of teeth with much stronger and bigger ones, all right? So this is the temporary teeth, and then we have the permanent teeth. Typically in humans, you have the permanent teeth reaching up to a number of 32. I hope this lesson has been very fruitful for you. Very good. So for today, we looked at the different types of teeth in mammals and related them to their functions. And with the different types, we looked at the incisors, the canines, the premolars, and the molars. And we related them to their function of cutting food, tearing flesh or tearing food, and also crushing and grinding food. This lesson has been about the different types of teeth. Now for your assignment, you name the 4 types of teeth that can be found in the mammalian skeleton, and also state 2 characteristics and 1 function of each of the types of teeth. I believe you can do this. Very good. This brings us to the end of our class. I hope you have a very good week, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos and comment.